Welcome, everybody, to another Bangers and Classics podcast with me, James Ruppert, and him, David Malloy. And where's David been this week?
Oh, not too many places, James.
No?
No.
Oh, no.
Just saw a big white cruise ship sailing up the Clyde yesterday. I wonder what that was going to and why it was there.
No
But
idea.
no, me neither.
No.
No. Well, in my travels this week, I have seen a couple of classic cars just for a
Oh, good.
change. I saw quite an unusual one a few days ago. I saw a very presentable 1990-ish Volvo 240 being driven on a wet day, and it looked in very good condition. But it was out. It was raining. The road was wet. There was all sorts of crud on it, and whoever owned the Volvo was out driving it. So well played, sir, whoever you are. And remember the Volkswagen Beetle I saw a couple of weeks ago with the various colours of paint and filler?
Yeah.
Well, it was back again. It sits at a fast food place near a supermarket. And yesterday I was at the supermarket, came out to see that the Beetle had been joined by a second one. Now, I don't know if it's bred or whatever, but
No,
however,
right.
there was a second Beetle. They're both M registration. One, as I say, is covered in filler and various shades of paint, various shades of primer. The other one is a sort of strange copper colour. Looked okay and had a fabric sunroof, but they're both the same age. And obviously there's some sort of little meter something going on there.
Oh, well, that's good. 1973 Beatles.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that's it. Well, I mean,
Mm.
they split up about 3 years before that, but
Did
never
they?
mind.
Yeah.
Apparently so. Yeah, maybe no one told them. I don't know.
No, that's right.
What about you? What have
Yeah.
you seen?
Well, an outbreak of rovers. Saw a very nice 45 being used, but the better rover was. I know we're unearthing terrible memories for you, David, but a Rover 213. The old. There you go, an old square one. But it was nice to see it because I can't remember the last time I saw one of those, and that was good to see being used, and Mondeo 1 and a Mondeo 2. Those are two marks of the Mondeo tribe that you don't see at all, but they were in reasonable condition and being used, and that sort of brightened my day a bit because you think they're all dead. And a
I
super.
have nightmares now after you
Oh,
saying
sorry
that.
about that, Dave. I didn't
Yeah,
want to bring that up, but I had
and
to.
you've raised the spirit of one of my favourite people who's not actually dead, but
All
talking
right.
about Mundanos. Well,
Yeah.
say favourite people. He's not
Yeah.
at all my favourite person, but never mind. Yeah, at least you saw a Subaru Forester. That is quite good. I'll give you that one.
I like those.
Quite like
Mm,
that myself. Yep.
mm.
Yeah, so not too bad. I suppose 1 out of 3 is okay. Oh, 1 out of 4 because you saw two
Oh,
Mundanos.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you did, yeah. I just saw the two Volkswagens, which actually, yeah, but they were okay. They're harmless enough things, I suppose. Unless you drive one in the wet,
Yeah.
yeah, then they can be well. That can be a different story. So, what about news this week? Any news, James? Because I've got none.
No, I mean, I did see that my friend at the Mini Moke Society actually did get back to me, and yeah, they're sort of on board with the Moke in a way. They've written, bits and bobs about it. It gave me some links that I can't be bothered to share with you, and yeah, I think they've been sort of exposed to it because obviously the people selling the Moke want to get as much publicity as possible. So the people seem to be okay about it, but I think we need to know. We need to know not a lot more, not least because I think it was the Moke annual general meeting the other week, so they were busy with all sorts of things.
Right.
The other thing, David, a passing of a historical thing is that you can't have a GB on the back of your car anymore when you go abroad.
No.
I think no, apparently not. No, it's all changed. Um, I know we like those chrome ones in particular that you can put on your boot lid. Although we always remember the sticky ones from the ferry company that
Hmm.
we used to get in the post when we knew we were going somewhere exciting. But no, it says UK now. It's to accommodate our friends in Northern Ireland because otherwise GB is exclusive to the people of Northern Ireland. So that's why it's going to be UK instead of GB.
It's a
So
bit odd though because they're doing it now because
it is, isn't
it's
it?
long since been the case that
It
Northern
has.
Ireland's been part of the UK but not part of Great Britain.
No, that's right.
Um,
I believe it's it's a Brexit related thing. But yeah, who knows? It could be
uh,
some. But it is the law. It's apparently you can be stopped, and I don't think any of us would want to run into the French police or the Italian police if they felt like stopping us and complaining about our sticker. Although personally, I don't think they probably care very much.
Oh, I don't know if they thought they'd get some money out of you,
Yeah,
James. Yeah, they'd care all right. No, it just sounds like more nonsense, really.
yeah.
I mean, why can't you have GB and NI stickers then if you're so concerned about it?
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's a fair point, but it's the law, David, and you are, you have to enforce it and endorse it. So
Oh,
there you go.
I don't
You
endorse
don't,
it.
don't
No,
you?
God knows. No,
Oh no.
I spent all those years as a lawyer to find out one essential truth: the law is an ass. In many cases, it is an
Yeah,
ass, and its administration leaves a lot to be desired.
yeah,
Um, which is why I got the heck out of Dodge. So
yeah.
I couldn't be bothered with it anymore. Yeah, it's just a story of
No,
my life, really.
no, that's right.
I get bored and go and do something else.
Now,
Yeah.
David, what was it? There is the ECOS sticker, isn't there, for you gentlemen and ladies north of the border? That was also something that I do remember seeing on the back of cars for many years.
No, I don't endorse any of them,
No,
really. No,
no,
I don't like stickers. I don't like
you
putting
know,
anything on my paintwork.
no. Oh, okay.
No, I didn't like. I did it because I had to. It was
Yeah.
a legal requirement. Obviously,
Mm.
going on holiday, going to a car show, or whatever in France or something like that. Yeah, I'd put a GB plate, GB sticker in my car. But I used to, as soon as I got the first chance I got, it came off. Loads of soapy water. Get rid of the thing before it damages the paintwork. No, never liked them. Um,
So you never had? I've got a tiger in my tank sticker from Esso. You never had one of those then?
If we just stuck to the glass, that's the windscreen glass. That's different, yeah, but not in the paintwork. No,
Now, David,
that
are you old enough? Now we're going down this route. Do you remember the bullet hole stickers, which you used to put across your window, which were James Bond inspired?
I
And
used to drill bullet holes in mine, mate.
you had real ones.
Yeah, real ones.
Well, you
Yeah,
were brought up in quite a tough manner, so maybe that explains it.
that's it. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
told you before that when I was a kid, to get the family dog to play with me, my mum had to tie sausages around my neck. I mean, that's how
yeah.
things were in those
Oh,
days.
that's fair enough.
Yeah, kind of do remember those things. I never had a set.
No.
Of them, no, no. But I've never was a great one for stickers on cars anyway.
Mm.
Because a lot of them affected your visibility.
Yeah.
I like to see where I'm going. I like to see where I've been and who's coming up and all sorts of things. I'm a bit old fashioned that way. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, but I mean, David, I've just ordered
Mm.
300,000 bangers and classic stickers. I don't know what I'm going to do with them now. Now you're not on board with
Oh,
stickers.
I'll fully endorse those. Is there any money
Oh,
in
really?
it for us?
Well, hopefully quite a lot. Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'm going to endorse them, innit?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's different. You never
Yeah.
mentioned that before.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Yeah, of course. Stickers are rubbish, except bangers and classic stickers, which are obviously this year's must have and next year's must have as well, and probably a decade after that as well. So, yep, get them. That's it. That's it. That's it. Sorted, James. Nobody will ever know I was against them after hearing
No, no,
that.
no. You can edit that bit out. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. I'm probably too lazy to though. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we'll put it in just for a bit of balance, a bit of contrariness.
Yeah.
Any other offerings in the US front?
Any offering? No, I don't think so. I think we're just waiting for, I don't know, world events to catch up with us, David. I think.
Well, that's probably true.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were saying that anyway, the Mini Moke Society, they're actually okay with an electric moke.
I don't know whether I think they were on board with it as a conventional ICE
Ah,
car, but because the electric part, and I did specifically ask them about that, but I think they were a bit too busy sorting out their AGM really to concentrate on that particular thing. Because I've asked the chap to send me some pictures of his Innocenti and stuff like that. So
right.
when he's got the time, I might quiz him a bit more.
Having covered this week's news such as there is,
Yeah,
let's take a break before we move on to, let me see, this week's challenge, I think. On Sunday, 31st October 2021, James and David will present a special Halloween edition of Bangers and Classics from Transylvania. We're back after the break. Shall we move on now to this week's Banger or Classic?
yeah, we
And
could do, couldn't we? Yeah,
I think we could, yeah,
yeah,
I think we can join the Espace race by talking about the Renault Espace.
yeah.
What did you think of the Espace, James? Or what
It
do you think of
was
it?
Well, it wasn't a van with windows, was it? That was the thing. It was really quite a unique and very sort of funky looking thing, really. Um, I mean, the minivan concept sort of started in the States, if you really want to dig into it,
Mm.
but certainly for Europe, that was the first of the vehicles that you could actually say was designed with people in mind rather than carrying boxes about.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, one of my enduring memories was working with a photographer, and it would have been about 30 years ago when the Espace was pretty new. And photographers in the old days were actually extremely well off. They used to have assistants. They used to take Polaroid pictures before they actually took the actual picture. It took forever to work with photographers. The results were spectacular, of course, so it was worth the wait. But he was obviously so well off. He had a brand new Espace, but he'd allowed his children to apply paint to decorate the panels. And at the time, I was fairly horrified by it. I thought, are you mad to let your children do that? Actually, on reflection, I think it's a rather charming thing to have done because maybe he wasn't at home much. He was so busy taking pictures. He just thought the least I can do is let them muck about with paint on my brand new plastic Espace. But I would know a very well thought out car, and if you had a family, it's probably one of the best ones that you could have, and it looked distinctive. It wasn't boring. It wasn't a box. It wasn't a van. It was an Espace,
Mm.
and yeah, it worked extremely well. And the diesel engines were good. And if you could afford to run a V6, run a V6.
Yeah. Do you know where it started or where the styling came from?
I would presume that's Matra based, isn't it?
Well, not exactly.
No.
That was believed to be the case for a long time. People
Yeah.
thought it was Antoine Volanis who
Mm.
designed it, who was Matra's in-house designer. It seems to have originated from Fergus Pollock, Chrysler UK, and at some point made its way into Matra's hands. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but they then designed a vehicle using, I believe, the 2.2 litre engine from the Murena and the Talbot Tagora, and I think alloy wheels from the Murena, and presented it to Peugeot. It wasn't a fully formed Espace as we know it. I don't think the seats were anything like as flexible, but nonetheless, they showed it to Peugeot, who were the new partners, and Peugeot, who had their own problems at the time. It was obviously the early 80s, and they were trying to run Citroën, their own company, and an alien Chrysler Europe they'd bought decided, no, we're not going to go down this line. So Matra then took it to Renault, and that's how the Espace was born. But there's also a prototype in the Matra Museum, believe it or not, of a scenic-sized Espace version that never made production. If you go to the Matra Museum at Romorantin, you'll see it there. But here's the other thing, James.
Yeah.
Do you know how many they sold in the first month on sale in 1984?
I've got no idea, David.
Have a guess.
23.
9.
All right, there you go. I wasn't far out.
They sold 9 of them. Now, the reason that the Espace, certainly the first 3 generations, was unique was its construction. They had a hot dip galvanized chassis. That was a technique they'd pioneered in the Murena. Basically, they formed the Espace chassis and they dipped it into molten zinc at something like 420 to 460 degrees Celsius, give it a nice, effective anti-corrosion protection. And then obviously they applied fiberglass panels. It was a clever car. They even brought out a 4-wheel drive version at one stage. You might remember that, James.
Yeah, was it Quadra or something?
That's right, the Espace Quadra, yeah. And you get diesel versions and you get the V6 version. I know someone who had a V6 and one of the 2 banks of cylinders went bang on a French autoroute, and he said it was like an F1 blow up, just smoke billowing from the bonnet. He said it was incredible. But he got it fixed. It was quite a good engine, but maybe not best suited to the Espace, I don't think, if I'm being honest. Because I had an Avon time, which is the same engine or a later version of it, and it wasn't brilliant in that car. But the Espace itself, very clever car, great idea, well marketed, and yeah, it's got to go down as a classic.
Yeah, no, it's a classic, David. There's no argument really is there about it. And again, it's one of those vehicles you do not see. I think they all got used to bits and broken up.
You seldom see one. There are very,
Mm.
very few
Yeah,
about the place. In fact, I can't think of anyone who's got one at all now. I knew a few people who did have them, but they all seem to have moved on from them, which is
yeah,
a shame. And of course, in actual fact, the Espace was, in a way, the undoing of Matra Automobile,
yeah,
because Matra made a lot of them for Renault. I mean, a great deal of them over the years. And then I think it was about 96, 97, Renault said, we're going to, well, when they were talking about doing the 4th generation, Renault said, we're going to take that and build it ourselves, make it from steel. There's no fiberglass in it. So thank you very much, guys, but won't be needing your services. And Matra Automobile then struggled on for a bit, building the Avon time, and a little car that never came to be called the M72, and eventually went pop in 2003, which was really sad, especially for the people in the town where it was built, and nice little town in France. But there we go. But yeah, they built some great cars, and the Espace is certainly one of them. So yeah, I think we can agree it's a classic. So that's that. But we can talk about other cars just now that perhaps may not have been classics.
All right.
Let's go back to one of my favourite decades, James, and
Mm.
possibly yours, the 1980s.
All right. Yeah, I remember those.
Yes. Yes, I'm not going to make any daft comments here.
No.
Thought about it though. Imagine you were back in the 1980s. You could be like Lady Di and have an Austin Metro, or
Mm.
you could maybe have a Talbot Samba or a Fiat Uno. If you had to choose between those three, what car would you go for and why?
Well, strangely enough, David, I bumped into a gentleman in a car park the other day, and this is going somewhere, by the way. He was slightly older than me, and I was in the Mini Cooper. And his claim to fame was that he part exchanged his Mini Cooper for a Talbot Samba. And there was a look of regret in his eyes about it all, but that was a long time ago. I mean, just to go really quick to it, yeah, we've been through the Metro. It's, who cares about the Metro really, apart from the Metro Owners Club.
What about the Turbo?
Yeah, okay, but it's not. I don't know. I thought it was a disaster, but
Might be fun to drive though. It might be a hoot,
it could be.
Could be.
But no, strangely enough, one of Mrs. Bangonomics' company cars in the 80s was a Fiat Uno 70 SX. And that was a really nice car. It was very nice to drive, lots of room in it, a boxy little thing. And it's the sort of thing where you just think, yeah, that's what Fiat should do all day long, just make cars like that.
Yeah. They got it right with the Uno, there's no question.
Yeah.
It sold like hotcakes across Europe as well.
It did. Yeah, it was a very good looking car. It was a Euro box, but a very good Euro box. So, yeah.
It still drove like an Italian car, James. That's the thing. It may have been Eurocentric in looks, but it still had that little bit of Italian DNA in it that made it good to drive.
Oh no, it was very good to drive. That's why it was fun. And that's why it gets my vote, David. Apart from the the 1970s Talbot Samba and the totally unrated Austin Metro.
Yeah. Well, Samba had one thing over the other too.
Did it?
Yeah. You know what they called the engines it used? It was used a certain type of engine. It wasn't really a Talbot. I mean, it was a Peugeot, really, wasn't it?
Well, I suppose it was really. Yeah.
Well,
very confusing times for all of us.
Well, it was based in a Peugeot. It wasn't an all new car, but it used Peugeot engine. Sorry, it used a Peugeot engine, and you know what the name of that engine was? The nickname for it?
No.
The Suitcase.
Oh, the Suitcase one. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right.
The Duvan engine. Yeah, and well, I mean, the Samba was okay. I mean, you did get a nice little cabrio. Looked quite good as a cabrio, I thought. Maybe you disagree.
Oh, it was okay, wasn't it? Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah. But I'm probably going to have to agree with you, and I would go for the Uno just because it's a little bit better looking, a little bit more modern.
Yeah.
And drove better. Go for the Uno. That's it.
And it's also got the best in my name, isn't it? Really, I don't want to say I've got a Samba. Really, it just doesn't move me.
Well, is it? Yeah, it doesn't get your toes tapping.
No, not at all.
No. Okay then. And on that note, we will take another break. Join us this Halloween for an adventure that's even spookier than the Skoda Estelle on a wet road on remolds. So we're back again, and I've got some news for James. There wasn't actually a challenge this week.
Oh, thank goodness for that. That's brilliant news.
Except actually there is, and I was just lying to see what you'd say.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, maybe I can rustle something up. You never know, David.
Yeah. Like Little Blue Peter, here's one I made earlier, sort of thing. Yeah,
exactly.
The challenge is to find a 1990s coupe with a current MOT, which means the selection I've went for is not going to work. It has to have some curb appeal, and it's going to cost £5,000 or less.
Or less. Oh, okay.
Or less. I think I'll start this one. Just you can rip it to pieces. Because this was actually conceived before this week's Autocar came out, in which obviously you talked about 1990s coupe in there. And I realised that, so I thought, hang on, James was talking about this very car, or this very car and another one in Autocar this week. Yeah, you were.
All right, am I? Oh, okay.
Apparently so. But I think I said you got it wrong, and I have to say, there was some harumphing went on, obviously. So I continued the harumph by going for this week's challenge car as an Alfa Romeo GTV V6. It's a 916
Mm.
GTV, which means it's a front-wheel drive version. It's a Phase 2 version, which has got the 6-speed gearbox, so it's not one of the very first Phase 2s, and it's got a bundle of service history. Oh, and it's also got a Q2 differential, which some people say is essential in these cars. I've owned one. It isn't essential, but it's a good thing to have. 125,000 miles. It's got said to have a stack of service history. It's got a sort of tan leather interior, lots of electrics, ABS, aircon, which apparently works,
Mm.
matching tyres. It's not got an MOT, it just ran out, but it's getting an MOT in sale. So technically, you could say it's got a 12-month MOT, or it will
Yeah.
have. MOT history, nothing too drastic on, just the usual Alpha stuff, suspension bushes, etc., and other things you're going to find in a 22-year-old car.
Mm.
But it's had a cam belt, a new clutch, coil packs in 2019, brake calipers in 2018, new radiator 2015, quaif differential 2014, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things there that have been done to the car. It's just trying to see what colour it is. It's blue, but I'm trying to remember what kind of colour that is in the Alpha catalogue. It doesn't matter. It could be Vela blue, but I could be wrong about that. It's a very nice looking car. It's got a nice aerofoil. It's got the teardrop alloys, well, rather than the prettier telly dials. That's the only thing I'd mark it down on. But it's a nice looking car, James. £4,500. It's on eBay. The mileage is a bit higher than maybe you'd like, but apart from that, it looks good. And having driven those cars, being too tall for them, I can say they're great to drive. They really are.
Yeah.
But you may have a different car in mind for this week's challenge.
I could do. Well, obviously, the sort of car I should actually be picking a Fiat Coupe, shouldn't I? Really, that's what I should be doing.
Yeah, you could do.
Because that's what everybody would want, and so forth. And yeah, I sort of remember now what I was doing in Autocar. Because I get these things sent through, and I very flippantly reply to them because they have to be done very quickly. So there isn't time for as much time as you have, David. To don your smoking jacket and lie on a chaise longue and think about it. I have to ping back an opinion.
Surely not, dear boy. Surely not.
And most of the time it's wrong. But yeah, so I should be thinking about that, but I'm not. I've gone in a very unusual direction, and I've plumped for a probe. But it seems to be a very nice probe.
Mm.
From 1997. It's got the 2.5 engine, so it's got the big engine, so that's great. And it's been owned by the same person for nearly 20 years. So it's in pretty good nick. And he's an enthusiast. He's made some upgrades, but they're all reversible. All these things you can take off. So he's got very slightly wider tyres. He's put an induction kit on it and, high performance, high tension leads, but you can take those off if you want. And really, it just seemed, it's got pop-up headlamps. That, it's one, isn't it, on that basis, really. But it just seemed like a very nice example of the breed, and that's 3950 is that's all he's asking for it.
Where is it?
Where was it? What, in the country? Or
no, where'd you see it advertised?
that was actually in. You can find it on Auto Trader. But,
right. Well, see, normally I would agree and say that pop-ups go for the win, but this Alfa Romeo has got the Busso engine.
Yeah.
And the Busso engine, especially with a nice exhaust system, it sounds fantastic. It's possibly the greatest engine ever built in a road car, and I don't say that lightly. Easily the best thing about the car, and that's why they're better than Fiat Coupes. Fiat Coupe is a very nice car. It's it goes well, it handles well, it looks great, but it hasn't got a Busso under the bonnet, and that makes all the difference. Let me assure you. You find a tunnel, open the windows, drop your car down a gear because you can't go too fast. You've got to obey the speed limits, but drop it down a gear and give it some revs, and I guarantee you'll think you're in a tunnel at Monaco in the 1970s Formula One car. It's that good sounding. Funnily enough, though, you say about a probe, I actually thought about going for a probe or something like that this week, but then I saw the Autocar piece and I thought, no, I have to go for a GTV here. I wouldn't object to the probe. It's underrated. We've talked about it before, and
we have.
Yeah, they're not as bad as people made out at the time.
No.
I wouldn't have rushed out to buy one back in the day. In fact, I didn't. But there's nothing too much wrong with them. Anyway, James, so we've now covered the challenge, and I'm going to declare myself the winner just because it's got a bushel. We'll soon find out if anybody else agrees with me.
Well, I'm sure most people will do, David, but they'll be misguided and completely wrong. But there you go.
Yeah, but we'll have great company, though. That's the thing. That's it. So there you go. So we're going to move on, and well, I thought one of the things we could discuss on the podcast, we've talked about bad classic car names before, or bad car names. What about the most boring classic car name?
Well, in a way, it should be TVR, shouldn't it? Because they just made it more interesting. Because otherwise, it would be a Trevor, as they say.
Yeah, Trevor Wilkinson. Yeah. Well, I was thinking more of the model name, but yeah, we can call it manufacturers' names as well.
I've gone down the manufacturer route, David.
That's all right. That's all right.
I do apologise for that, but quite obscure route as well, really.
I quite like TVR as the name, though.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah.
No, I think it's really, very boring when people go, "Oh, you do realise it should be a Trevor," but I don't really care. Yeah. I quite like it.
No, I mean, I've been doing a bit of writing about TVRs lately, so I'm quite fond of them.
Yes,
old-fashioned sports cars that, unfortunately at the moment that there's none in production. There should be one next year, hopefully. I believe the Welsh government has got a tiny stake in the company that builds them, the new TVR.
Yeah. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're not built in Wales as far as I know, though. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm sure a legion of enthusiasts would love to see it come out and love to see it be a success. So I'm going to wish them all the best in that. Because going back to boring car names. I mean, you've got stuff like the Mocha, the Cougar. I've spoken about those before as just being puerile. But I'm going back to a name that's maybe a bit unfortunate because the car was quite boring as well, I suppose. The Nissan Cedric. So what do you say, James? Would you have a Cedric?
It'd be very reliable, a Cedric, and there was the Laurel. I remember going to school with a Laurel. That's a name you don't hear.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah,
popular names, but I remember. Yeah, Nissan Laurel.
Well, you got lots of space in the Cedric as well, James. Lots of space.
Yeah,
because nobody else will get in one with you.
Maybe not. No,
that's probably not true. But I just thought I'd just chuck it into the mix, just on the basis why the heck not? Because we can say anything we like, basically.
Yeah,
there's no one to tell us off yet.
Well, I don't know. We get a lot of people telling us off for our inaccuracies and flights of fancy, and some people have accused us of just making things up, but we do try our hardest
to make things up. Absolutely, yeah,
absolutely, yeah. I'll just give you a couple of names, David, because I went to the bother of looking for them. There was actually, if you go, I'll tell you what, if you go down the kit car route, it's fabulous. There was a Fergus.
Did you sing the blues?
Good. No, he didn't. But it was quite a not half bad Aston Martin sort of replica that was. But there was one called the Field Mouse. Can you imagine that? I'm just gonna drive off in my Field Mouse, and that was a Ford Popular made to look like a Jeep.
Oh, God!
And that's from the very early 70s. So good luck finding a Ford Popular chassis. But anyone who did, they could turn it into a Field Mouse.
Well, I'm just thinking, what would you say if you're going down to the filling station? Yeah, I'm just going to pop down and fill up my Field Mouse.
Exactly.
No, that doesn't work. I'm afraid.
No.
At least the guys behind them, they made a car. They did something with the time. So again,
that's right. No, I do agree with that. And well, I'm looking forward to the Bangers and Classics trike when it comes out. I know we couldn't afford the extra wheel, but hopefully people will appreciate what we've done.
Well, my wife will probably snaffle it. She likes trikes.
All right, that's nice.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she always wanted a trike. I said, no, we're not getting a trike. No, absolutely no way. I'm a wheel short as it is. Some people would say
exactly.
So. Anyway, shall we move on to the last
thing? Actually, David, no, I did actually own a Pashley three-wheeler bicycle, and a few years ago, and that was very good. And the thing is, they're in such demand. I think I sold it for like 1 million times what I paid for it. So that was quite good. So if anybody ever offers you a Pashley three-wheeler, anything, or just a Pashley bike, which were commercial bikes, just buy them, and then you can sell them for more than you paid for them.
All right.
That's just a top bicycling tip there.
Right.
Which is of no use to anybody on a podcast about cars. But
well, maybe they might be into bikes as well. They might have a bike in their shed. They might have a Pashley in their shed.
Well, there you go.
Now they're running off to get it valued.
Yeah, they could be.
They could be rich. It's all down to you.
Yeah, no, it's very nice of you to
There you
say.
go. Well, it is because maybe they didn't know about it until you spoke about it. I had no idea what a Pashley was.
Oh, right. Oh,
Um,
no, they make commercial bikes, hand-built commercial bikes, and I mean, they made, like, proper butcher's bikes and stuff, and,
oh right,
yeah, but, yeah, they did do there was a big thing, on the three-wheeler market, and,
yeah.
it's
Did they
had
make
2
the bike
seats
for?
on the back. Yeah.
Didn't make the bike for the old Hovis advert, did they? I wonder.
I don't think they did, no,
Yeah.
although they could have done.
Oh,
I
the two
don't know.
Ronnie's version was better anyway.
Yeah,
Yes, but if you know what we're
yeah,
talking about, go and look it up on YouTube. Hovis advert and two Ronnie's Hovis advert, and well, you can make your own mind up.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, but
one
we have
last.
talked about bicycles before, David. We did talk about choppers once, and,
We did.
yeah, so, there you go. So a bit more bike chat, because we might get more people asking for bicycle chat.
Hmm. I
Uh,
just in that note, I saw a Citroen C5 for sale recently on Facebook.
oh, did you?
Yeah, it was 380 quid. I think there was a couple of bits missing.
Yeah,
But yeah, I thought, well, it's not too bad to buy, I suppose. It's a bit of history. And of course, with
mm,
the passing of Sir Clive recently,
yeah,
I wasn't tempted to buy it because obviously I've got other outlets for me dosh at the moment, beginning with E and ending in V.
yeah.
But yeah, it was quite nice to see one again. I wouldn't drive one anywhere. Yeah, heaven knows, I wouldn't even have considered that. But maybe if we're going around, I mean, obviously in the grounds of Ruppert Towers, where you've got about 5,000 acres in Norfolk, that'd be great. You could probably get down to your front gate and back in it
Well, I was
before you
going
run
to
out
say
of
the
battery power.
battery would constantly be running out, wouldn't it? Really, but it's a
Yeah.
good job we've got manservants to push it around, so that'd be okay.
Yes. Yes. Well, unfortunately, I don't know. Sadly, did I ever tell you? Well, I'm not even going to go there. No. Anyway, shall we move on finally to the last part of the show?
I'll
Uh,
let you move on now, David,
no,
from
you don't have.
bicycle
Yeah,
from
you don't have to.
yeah, no, from push bikes. No,
We
we
can
can.
talk more about push bikes. We
No,
all.
no, no, it's okay.
I don't
No,
mind. I mean, you could talk about a rally grifter. Did you like those?
no, I was too old by then. I couldn't care less
Ah, of
about
course.
them.
Yeah, you sometimes see these things about. Now, a bike I do see about sometimes, bizarrely. So since we're talking about bikes, is the old
Mm,
RSW. I think it was a 16. I think it was a folding bike, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, I see them about occasionally. See a couple of people have got them. I don't know what for. They're kind of ungainly looking things, but hey, if they like them, good luck to them. Anyway, talking about ungainly looking things,
Oh yes.
let's talk about cars. I was going to ask you about this. This is a question. It's a burning question that's been lots of people haven't asked us about it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Looking at fixed head cars, ones with tin roofs. What would you say is best body shape? Would you say it's a saloon, a coupe, an hatchback, or an estate gav?
Well, strangely enough, and we've given some plugs to one of my employers, which is Autocar. And I did write quite a fascinating story, and I called it the Dead Model Society. And and yeah, it is one of those things that do you lie awake at night thinking whatever happened to the two-door estate car? Because there is no such thing now, is there? Really? Even the three-box saloon. Never mind the Lordelette. So there's a lot of stuff that's gone. I mean, real shooting brakes
Hmm.
don't exist at all anymore. There might be the odd coach built thing that some rich person has commissioned on on a Ferrari or an Aston Martin or something. But there's an awful lot of stuff that seems to have gone and disappeared completely. And we must get very upset because actually the three-door hatchback will be gone soon because
Yeah.
it's not worth their while to build them. It wasn't worth their while to build them because finally they sort of thought, yeah, we're putting two doors where we might as well put four because it's just stupid just to build one body type for that, and also because of the legislation that's coming as regards CO2. So yeah, so even though the three-door hatchback killed off just about everything, and now it's going to be dead itself. We've spoken about speedsters, I think, in the past,
Hmm.
which
Well, just a bathtub, really, wasn't it, on wheels?
yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, that's right. And utility cars, and again, we do pop into that because you mentioned Citroen Mahari the other week, and
Hmm.
yeah, that sort of vehicle, Austin Champ, Unimogs up to a point, Mini Mokes, which every week we should always come back to the Moke. That effectively was a flat pack
Yeah.
utility vehicle that could be chucked out of a plane and reconstructed on the ground to be used. And
Yeah.
you don't see those anymore
Ah.
at all.
In that vein, I saw something unusual quite recently, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was a white Volkswagen Golf pickup.
Right. Yes.
I can't remember the last time I saw one of those. I mean, I'd have to say, probably looking at all the different types, I'd go for a hatchback. Because simply it's versatile. It can be, if it's a 3-door, it can be sporty and attractive.
Yeah.
It's practical. So you can get all your luggage in, you get all your kit in if you're on a job or whatever, and they can be great fun to drive, especially if you've got a glass roof. That would be the ideal for me, I suppose. Hatchback with a nice glass roof. I'd go for that. It obviously depends how it looks, but 3-box saloons never really appealed. Coupes, yeah, I don't mind those. I quite like some of those. Some good ones in the past. But estate cars, I've actually got an estate car sitting outside that I own, which I actually like, but it's got a glass roof. That's probably the reason why. But yeah, I mean, there were so many types of car that, as you say, we're losing.
Well, that's right. It's very confusing about when it's a hatchback, a fastback, really, or a liftback. Even
or a notchback, even
that was a term. That was a term that was used. Yeah,
and then chuck in cam tails as well.
Well, you can do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we can do. There's also, or Manx tails even. Good God,
yeah,
with those too. So, what do you go for, James? I mean, you haven't said yet what your favourite body shape is. We are talking cars.
Cars. A 2-door 4x4.
Oh,
Quite like that.
Oh no, it's Suzuki Jimny again, isn't it?
Well, no, it could be, but no. I mean, I've got the old lorry, and I do find that quite useful. I mean, it isn't huge in certain ways. It's not long. You can't get long things in it, but you can get a load of nonsense in it. And
It's ideal for this podcast.
It is absolutely. But yeah, 2-door 4x4s are sort of quite rare things now. Those are dying off. Used to be able to get a Isuzu Trooper that was a 3-door, and there was lots of big old things. So yeah, just to be obtuse, I'll say a 2-door off-roader.
Well, I can agree with that. That's a nice selection. Yeah, so we're not quite agreed because I'm going to go for the hatch anyway. But we're agreed in 2 doors are good. So I think we can move on from that basis.
Yeah.
So, where are you this week on your travels towards Transylvania?
Bosnia Herzegovina, David.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, we're having a good time there. So yeah, I mean, we're quite close to where we want to be. So we might travel around the region a bit more.
Yeah, I suppose you're going to have to. Yeah, it's not Halloween for another 9 days.
No, that's right. But
yes.
You've got to stock up on blood stocks, which obviously
well, apparently
are needed. So yeah, we've got to be prepared.
Right. Well, I've got my canoe sorted out. I'm going to start rowing soon towards the continent. And then basically just jump on freight trains or whatever till I get there.
Are you?
So
otherwise, I was going to be very careful when you're in the Bay of Biscay. It can be very choppy if you're in a canoe.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, so it's worse than the motorbike, but we're not even going to go there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. On that note, say thank you very much for listening. Hope you tune in to the next one, and hopefully I'll make it to Transylvania in one piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Albania next, and North Macedonia. Maybe go up through Bulgaria into Romania in the XJS. I'll tell you what, people, it's going extremely well.